environmental justice study. This was a study that was mandated by local law. It's one that we have engaged in community town hall meetings to hear directly from community residents throughout the city to better understand the environmental and climate justice issues that are of primary concern and that affect the health and sustainability of the city's communities. There cannot be climate justice without environmental justice. And so the report that comes out of this study will be a foundation for the Environmental Justice Advisory Board to help develop a comprehensive plan to address the environmental and climate justice concerns of New York City residents in our frontline communities. Our special guest today is Mayor Eric Adams, who we hope will commit to a strong public engagement and the political will to support a robust environmental justice plan. So please welcome Mayor Eric Adams for a very special announcement today.
Thank you very much, and I am not the special guest, all of you are, and I want to thank our entire environmental justice team. Today at City Hall, once again, we are getting stuff done on combating climate change, focusing on environmental protection and environmental justice. This is my first meeting with my environmental justice team. In a few moments, we introduce my new climate team. All of us will be working together to create plans for a clean, sustainable, and resilient future. And even more importantly, turning those plans into progress and making sure that progress is felt in every community across the city. New Yorkers are realistic. Climate catastrophe isn't some far-off threat. It's here. It's happening. And our city is taking action now. By the end of my 4 years in office, 100 megawatts of solar will be installed on schools, libraries, community centers, and other public buildings. Reaching this goal will reduce our reliance on oil and natural gas. We've already started. The city recently installed 500 kilowatts of solar power at the Thomas Edison Career and Technical High School in Jamaica, Queens. We'll also be building out citywide resiliency projects and infrastructure, breaking ground on a massive clean energy complex at Wards Island Water Resource Recovery Facility, overseeing construction of up to 10 megawatts of solar energy and 1 megawatt of battery storage, and completing the city's first comprehensive study of environmental justice. Far too long, the difference between an environmental incident and an environmental crisis is what neighborhood it has happened in. People of color and low-income communities experience a disproportionate share of pollution and environmental degradation. Lack of access to greener space and healthy food, something we forget often. People of color face greater danger from climate change and extreme weather, even though they contribute the least to our emissions. It's been that way for far too long, but we're going to change it. Climate justice is social justice. Why? We are creating a new Office of Climate and Environmental Justice. Brings together our climate resiliency and sustainability teams with environmental coordination and environmental remediation offices. Unite the policy team and the operation team under one umbrella, and appoint one leader to oversee this critical work. Today, announce my climate team. First, announce our new Chief Climate Officer and Department of Environmental Protection Commissioner. Rich Agarwala is well noted as a leader in this field, and new Chief Operating Officer of the Department of Environmental Protection Operation, Vinny Sempianza, who will report to Rich in his role as DEP Commissioner. and also our new Executive Director of the Mayor's Office of Climate and Environmental Justice, Kizzy Charles Guzman, who will report to the leadership in this area as well. Today, it is just the beginning of our journey towards the future. These three extraordinary public servants will lead the way. We're going to protect our city, our future, our people. We're going to create a green economy with thousands of good jobs, including in education and workforce development, pipeline to these green jobs. So we ensure the jobs we create are filled by our neighbors, and we won't ignore those who have been ignored in the past, particularly Black and brown students. We're going to deliver environmental justice and health benefits for Black and brown communities and change the way we think about the relationship between food and our climate, something that is often ignored and no one wants to talk about, but I will as your mayor. Now, let's introduce the environmental justice team who will get stuff done here at City Hall.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. First up, we're going to hear from our Deputy Mayor for Operations, Mira Zashi.
Thank you, Mayor Adams. Thank you, Peggy, for your work today. Thank you for your advocacy. Thank you to the entire environmental justice team for your work, your time, and your commitment. I'm deeply honored today to lead the climate team that we're announcing. I'm honored to lead an integrated approach to environmental justice. This is work that's central to every city agency and must be part of how we provide service to all New Yorkers. Water quality, widely varying proximities to parks and green space. And what about our trash? Some neighborhoods are plagued by illegal dumping and exposure to hazardous waste. Noise, air quality, traffic congestion, access to fresh foods, and logically priced nutritious foods. We know all too well that people flourish or diminish based on the quality of their environment. And if we want to flourish as a city, we must protect and improve the living, working, school, and transportation spaces of all New Yorkers and for our future New Yorkers. Today, the Adams administration recognizes that resolving these important and very much apparent issues that plague many New Yorkers takes an integrated approach, one that enables all of the mayor's previously separated environmental offices to work in coordination and rightly elevates the role of the Department of Environmental Protection. And putting this initiative under the Office of Operations ensures coordination with all of New York City's major operating agencies. I'm thrilled to bring the combined commitment and expertise of Rit, Vinny, and Kizzy on board to get stuff done. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And now we're going to hear from our new Chief Climate Officer and Commissioner of the Department of Environmental Protection, Rit Agarwal.
Thank you, Adriana. And thank you so much, Mayor Adams and Deputy Mayor Joshi, for having the confidence in me to give me this opportunity. As Mayor Adams said, climate change is one of the biggest challenges we face as a city. In the past, the Bloomberg and de Blasio administrations made significant progress in laying the groundwork for what we must do. But we're now in the critical decade of the climate fight, and it's under this administration that we will have to implement the plans and achieve the targets that have been set on decarbonization and on resilience. And as the mayor points out, we have to do this in a way that intentionally addresses the history of environmental injustice that is written all over this city. Injustice that is often directly related to climate, but also extends to challenges such as air quality, water quality, and food access. And so our challenge is to operationalize these three things: resilience, decarbonization, and environmental justice, and to drive them into the daily operating decisions made across a wide variety of city agencies. I'm tremendously excited to take on the role of Chief Climate Officer, and I'm especially thrilled and honored to lead the Department of Environmental Protection. DEP's 6,000 men and women work from Tottenville all the way up to Delaware County to make sure that this city and another million New Yorkers upstate have the nation's best drinking water, to protect our waterways, and to manage stormwater. The work they've done is reflected in the fact that our harbor is cleaner than it has been in more than a century, and we've seen whales, dolphins, and seahorses in our harbor. DEP's responsibility for stormwater places it in the front lines of climate change, and I'm going to work very hard to make sure that DEP is doing all it can do to lead on resilience and protect all New Yorkers. I'm particularly grateful to Vinnie Sapienza, who has done a great job as commissioner and who has graciously agreed to stay on as chief operating officer so that I and all New Yorkers can continue to count on his expertise and dedication. And I'm very pleased to have Kizzy Charles Guzman as my other partner in this work. No one in New York City is better qualified to lead the Mayor's Office of Climate and Environmental Justice than Kizzy, who started her career at We Act under Peggy's leadership, who's worked then in my former office in City Hall on air quality, who served in the Department of Health, and who has since worked on water, on cooling our neighborhoods, and on decarbonizing our buildings. Her CV really does read like the job description she's about to have, and all of us are lucky to have her. Mr. Mayor, again, I thank you very much, and we will get stuff done.
Thank you so much, Rit. And now we're going to turn it over to our new executive director for the new office, the Mayor's Office of Climate and Environmental Justice, Kizzy Charles Guzman.
Hi. Buenas tardes, mi gente. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for tuning in. A special thanks to our Environmental Justice Advisory Board for letting us crash your meeting. And Mayor Adams, thank you so much for your confidence. I am so excited and to have the opportunity to lead this work, which is clearly very close to my heart. And why is that? Well, I immigrated to New York City as a young teen and went to high school in Crown Heights, Brooklyn, in the 90s. A very much different environment than what is considered a very hip place today. And back then, I knew my neighbors and learned about community support, grit, and resilience from an early age. I was also an unpaid intern at the Brooklyn Botanical Garden, which helped me appreciate how hard nature works for us, and also showed me what it meant for environmental resources to be gated, protected, and beautiful, while Prospect Park, a few feet away, was at the time considered dangerous. But that's where my community, my friends, hung out. Despite it all, the park was the respite. It's still a place to build community, still a place to breathe, and nature there worked even harder. And I pursued my education and continued to experience a stark difference between rural and suburban spaces, natural areas, and their adjacent cities. So because of those formative experiences, I dedicated my career to environmental health and sustainability right here in New York City with Peggy. I still live in my same neighborhood, just blocks away from my old high school. And over my 15 years in city government, we have really built a tremendous arsenal of policies that have made us global leaders. And I have delivered work at that intersection of climate, sustainability, health, and racial equity. So today I'm thrilled and honored that I get to continue to serve. We're going to step up and accelerate the pace of our preparation for the extreme weather that is already affecting our communities. And we're going to do everything we can to stop emitting pollutants that hurt our health and hurt our planet. We will focus on improving our neighborhoods today while also preparing for the challenges of tomorrow. I'm excited to work with Rid and Vinnie and our city, state, federal partners, and the many advocacy organizations and activists on the ground. Together, we will execute on the vision that the mayor campaigned on, a focus on working-class New Yorkers, their health, their quality of life, their resiliency, and their lived experiences. Going forward, equity and health will not just be co-benefits of our investments. They will be the North Star that guides this administration's climate portfolio. Our agencies are up for the challenge. Together, we will improve and save lives. There's no time to waste, so let's get it done.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kizzy. We're now going to hear from our Chief Operating Officer at the Department of Environmental Protection, Vinnie Sapienza.
Thank you, and good afternoon, everyone. I've had the great privilege of working both shoulder to shoulder with and then leading an incredibly dedicated and talented team at DEP. Together, we've made tremendous progress in improving our local waterways and in ensuring that New York City's drinking water remains world-renowned. But all of those efforts and all of our water and wastewater investments are at risk due to climate change. Increasingly intense storms, warmer temperatures, and rising sea levels threaten DEP's future ability to provide ample amounts of high-quality drinking water and to keep our city streets from repeatedly flooding as they have been in underserved communities. And that's why Mayor Adams' mandate for city agencies to coordinate and to accelerate our climate initiatives is so important. Having collaborated with RIT and Kizzy over the years, I know that the expertise and leadership that they bring to this effort is critical to its success, and the team at DEP is eager to begin working with them. Finally, while we make these fundamental changes, DEP must continue providing daily essential services so that there are no surprises when you turn the kitchen tap or flush the toilet. I want to thank Mayor Adams, Deputy Mayor Joshi, Commissioner Agarwal, and Executive Director Kizzy Charles Guzman for their confidence in me to manage DEP's utility operations, and I pledge my full support in the overall mission. Thank you.
Thank you, Vinny. Now we're going to hear from the president of the New York League of Conservation Voters, my former boss, Julie Tai.
Thank you so much, Adriana. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm so pleased to be here today. It's a very exciting announcement. We're thrilled to throw our support behind your wise selections of Rit Agarwala and of Kizzy Charles Guzman, and Vinny Sapienza to help lead this team under Meera Joshi. We're very excited to see the combination of policy and operations because, as you pointed out, it is time for us to stop just planning and start putting those plans into operation so that we can make sure that we are tackling climate justice and environmental justice head on as we move forward. Because it is time for us to move to a green economy that's going to help all New Yorkers, that's going to help us fight against climate change and protect our communities from the impacts of climate change, in particular from urban heat and from storms that we know are going to just get worse as we move forward. So we are very excited because it is really time for us to be moving forward and start executing on these plans. So we look forward to working with you, Mr. Mayor, and your whole team, and congratulations on making this announcement today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. And we're now going to hear from Tiffany Ann Taylor with the Regional Plan Association.
Thank you, and good afternoon, everyone, and congratulations to you all this afternoon. I'm Tiffany Ann Taylor, Vice President for Transportation at the Regional Plan Association, known to many as the RPA. I'm pleased to represent the organization this afternoon to congratulate Rit on his appointment as Commissioner of the Department of Environmental Protection. Rit is a longtime supporter of the RPA as an active board member and served as the chair of our 4th regional planning effort. We are thrilled that Rit continues to serve the good people of New York City in this role. In addition to his time spent as an academic at some of the city's most prestigious universities under previous administrations, Rit served as the director of the former Office of Long-Term Planning and Sustainability. With this experience, New Yorkers will benefit from lessons learned from both missed opportunities and the potential of initiatives born at that time. As the city continues to battle major environmental challenges brought forth by climate change and the pandemic, RPA has great confidence that Rit's experience as a thought leader and expertise in climate resiliency, sustainability, and infrastructure building will usher in creative solutions to the environmental challenges that lie underground, in the water, and in our air. RPA will continue to be a thoughtful resource for Rit and a staunch advocate for important initiatives led by DEP as he steps into this role as leader of one of the most influential agencies for one of the most influential cities of the world. Congratulations, Rit, and best of luck.
Thank you, Tiffany. And finally, closing out the announcement portion of our meeting, last but never least, Carter Strickland for the Trust for Public Land.
Thank you, Adriana. Good afternoon, everyone. I congratulate Mayor Adams and Deputy Mayor Joshi for selecting the top-notch climate, water, and environmental justice team, and I congratulate Rit, Kizzy, and Vinny for being appointed to take on some of the most critical issues that we face. Just as fires and drought are challenges to western states, here in New York City, we will have to deal with dramatic increases in rain, sea level rise, storm surge, and hot and humid summer heat waves. Hurricanes Irene, Sandy, and Ida have made clear that these changes are already happening. I have worked closely with Rit, Kizzy, and Vinny for many years and say with absolute confidence that they will bring deep experience on these and many other critical environmental issues. They will take the time and care to collect data, make bold decisions, and craft effective and efficient investments in the critical infrastructure that we need to build with federal, state, and city money. Best of all, they understand that it is essential to work closely with frontline communities to take actions that will provide public health and other tangible benefits today, all while laying the foundation for a more sustainable future tomorrow. That has been true in their past work on programs like reducing emissions from buildings, getting our wastewater and other critical infrastructure systems climate ready, eliminating dirty heating oil, building green infrastructure in blue belts throughout the city, and creating cooling centers and planting trees where they are needed most. Rit, Kizzy, and Vinny, thank you in advance for your hard work in creating a better future for New York City.
Thank you very much, and this concludes the announcement portion of our meeting. And I will now close out the Environmental Justice Board meeting. Thank you.